1, 2, 3.
Question.
Great. Alright. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Animacast. Today we have CoreAdro, OrionsEgg, Pessoah, and a special guest, Shuriken.
Hi.
Hi.
Yay!
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So, Imitator released. When was it? Was it last
7th.
Thursday?
7th of November.
Yeah, on the 7th. You were working on that for like a year.
Yeah, not actually working. It was in host process for a year, since 7th of November till 7th of November, exactly 1 year.
Did you mean for it to go on for a whole year, or did it just happen to work out that way?
It happened to be 1 year.
I don't know why.
So,
I think when I first saw the video, it wasn't that time ago, or the time just passed by
Nice
so
coincidence.
quickly. I don't know why.
Yeah.
We didn't.
yeah. So, oh, sorry.
Hát na, you cut out a lot.
Yeah, you cut out a lot.
Uh-oh. Am I cutting out a lot? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Alright. Take 2. Hey, everyone, welcome to
Again.
Animacast. Again. Today we got CoreAdro, myself, Orion, Pessoah, and special guest
Hey.
Shuriken.
God. Isn't Shuriken
Hi.
that guy that made Imitator too? Question mark?
I've been dead for a while.
Yeah, I didn't animate anything, but I did a lot of job
He's
and,
the guy that
and also
hosted
made a
it.
part.
He didn't animate everything.
Alright. So, sorry.
Anything you
this
say.
just turned to a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we take
Alright.
3?
No, this is fine. We'll work with this.
It's funny when it's awkward,
Okay.
isn't it?
Alright. So, Imitator took around a year to make. It wasn't intentional. But, the process of it was grueling. It was agonizing for you. And when you released it, I recall you saying that you cried.
Yeah, when I seen reaction of people, I actually recorded this, the chat that was spamming that the whole episode good. It actually made me feel so happy, especially after that, a lot of effort, a lot of pain. I see that people enjoy it, that they love it, and that all this effort didn't go for nothing, that people actually enjoy it. And that, when they started typing F in chat, I was like, oh. Not even I think most people know that I don't actually die or something. I just change my activity, and by saying farewell, I mean farewell for those who to collapse, to those who only care about collapse or something like this.
Right. Would you say throughout the whole process of hosting it, was the end result and the feedback worth it?
I think it did because it's really hard for me. I didn't ever think about it. I was only thinking that, oh my god, it is finally finished. Not actually if the effort worth it. I see that people enjoy it, so yeah, it does worth it.
And you, what's your next project going to be? After anything related to animation?
Gonna learn assembler and go ahead and make my first game. I want to go big. This will be a synchronized platformer with synchronized environment. I will also try to make players' actions to be synchronized with music too. So in this case, I will do something that is close to what I did before. So in case if Nope, platformer.
I do want to ask.
No, platformer. It will
In
be
that game
platformer.
concept, will it be like Crypto the Necrodancer, where it's a top-down perspective?
Is it going to be a platformer, kind of like Geometry
Alright
Dash?
then, interesting to see
I
how
never
that'll work.
seen, Geometry Dash. I thought it was a runner.
Okay.
Geometry Dash is a platformer.
Oh.
But
So I'm
it
sure
is
there's a lot of
another
people who are going to be
scroll
watching this episode who
So,
still
yeah,
don't know
pretty much.
why you're leaving or don't know the context of that. You want to just explain like what you're going to be doing now, aside from just helping out with Alan Becker?
Yeah, I will work for Alan Becker because I still need money to live, and animation happened to be the only one thing I could earn my money with. So yeah, plus Alan Becker doesn't really give me animation in animating stick figures and stuff. He gives me more technical jobs like making assets or making models in Adobe Premiere, not Premiere, Adobe Animate. So it will be like isometric, not isometric, but so they rotate correctly. Some asset creation, coding, like those particles that were in Animator. Animator versus animation. Short with the spider. I coded all of it.
Wait,
There are actually a lot of stuff that I made for Alan Becker that I think it will keep going. Like he still will need
I know.
my service. In case if he won't need any services like this, I think I will need to make animation, but I can actually quit anytime I like. That's it.
I know this isn't related to the, theme of the podcast, but
Yay.
what do you do exactly for the animation versus animator?
Mostly I was doing coding and sometimes animating some objects that are not characters, like environment and stuff. Sometimes I did animation for characters, especially when it comes to the action part. I really like to do that. But yeah, mostly some technical stuff.
So you mostly do.
How long have you been working for him?
Since January 2018, I guess.
Yeah, so it's been about 2 years.
Yeah.
Is there anything any of you guys wanted to say?
Well, can't really think of anything other than like, how much time did it kind of take to compile, or not like for the entire collaboration of Imitator 2 to end, but
Gladly,
how much time
I
did it take to
did
compile everything?
fully
and do some
animated,
in-betweenings from each part.
frames of like for passage from one part to another. So so participants only had to rotoscope it until the final hit, like, and then it actually turned out really well. I think I edited only like 5 or 6 passages. It all went really good. If you are talking about
Yeah,
the transition between parts.
You know the last part of the Imitator 2, where there's everyone just just beating the shit out of him. Was it like
Yeah.
animated separately?
Actually, a lot of stuff were animated separately, and I had to split parts even more at the end of the collab because files just started crashing because of 3 minute long full HD video, and Flash 8 couldn't really handle it. But in general, there were like 3 parts which are the first part. It's from the start where Imitator goes into the room, like that only has 2D angle, not 2D angle, like 2D fight with no camera changing. The passage between first and second part, and second part, and second part, where we fight Imitator all at once.
That was the second part was like really difficult to organize. I recall.
Yeah, it actually was really hard to organize, but it is mostly my fault. When I was hosting a collab, I wanted it to be, top notched and like go ahead and do my full. That's what I actually did, but I did not expect, like, I also expected participants to do the same thing, but not all of them could do that.
There was a guy, I don't know his name exactly, but he had like 2 guns and a scarf.
Kicks.
Yeah, I guess his parts were really choppy in some parts,
Yeah, well, that's his style of animation. That's the collab after all.
But overall, it was just pretty good. I gotta admit.
Yeah, I also
Andrew,
when
you
I
were saying something?
hmm.
Andrew was asking something earlier.
Oh,
by the way,
Adra, I'm sorry.
just a quick question. Sometimes I hear like parts that are quiet, like nobody's talking. Like, is that real, or I have problem with the connection?
I think maybe it's just you.
I didn't actually know. It's really, when there is no, how to say it, when there is nothing like to tell about the collapse hosting. Yeah, like people start talking about the parts that they like the most, but if there are a lot of new stuff, I think people would like to say, wow, like he did that, it was made this way and this was made this way, and I don't really talk about the parts. So I also don't see any comments saying about any part, like, okay, this part was the best, or this part was the best, like it was in previous collab. Like there were a lot of comments saying that certain part is the best, like they enjoyed it the most. And also I
Who
think
was- Oh, I was just gonna ask, who's your favorite part then?
who is my favorite, what is my favorite part?
Yeah.
It's really hard to say. A lot of parts are good, and I actually can choose the best one.
And I think maybe a lot of the viewers are in the same kind of predicament. I think my personal favorite was Fox's first part.
Oh, it will.
I really did like Jump's part.
Oh yeah. The effects on that.
My
one
favorite
were
was Rafa's
astounding.
part. I think that's just
Yeah,
it's just so
it
amazing.
was pretty good.
By the way, what
I'd
I
say
want
my
to
favorite
ask
was
is,
that phase because
what do you
the
think
movement
about
is
this new
still
way
so
of thinking?
crisp.
Like you did this, though not many people know about this because you didn't really did this collab publicly.
I wish I didn't do that. Like, it was good on paper. It was good on paper. By doing, like, when I, like, if, like, viewers don't know yet, I'm also making a video about how the collab was hosted, so I will do this. So I will talk about this, more details. But in this collab, I did try a new system in which instead of making sound line and giving it to participant, I just gave them marks, like the sound line with beeps, and the volume of beep determined the hardness of action, and this way they could choose what they are going to do rather than be limited with certain sound effect. Also, this will save me a lot of hours of work when I make a sound line, specific sound line for someone and he quit. So sound line, sound line won't be messed up. But it turned out really bad because a lot of people didn't really get how to work with that thing, and they started doing hit absolutely each mark or skipping important marks. I tried to save the situation, but this made me do the deep part control and basically, bust into people's flaw files, like requesting some storyboards and some progress, and this really killed the fun of the collab. I always try to change these beeps to adjust the volume, but they didn't really like it. And because of that, Igor left the collab, which also hit me really hard because I was relying on him. But well, my fault. Well, kinda like this.
So, would you say the way you tried to have people sync their parts is what ruined the collab, or the process at least?
Yeah, that was kind of ruined the collab. It turned my hostment and participation of participants of my collab not fun. You can already notice this, that like if you care about collab that much, like people join it to have fun, but if they don't get it and you try like go hard on them, you're like, what? So yeah, that's what actually happened. So yeah, I will, if I could have a chance, I would go back and say, okay, Shuriken, don't do this. Just do the normal regular sound lines. Well,
I
that's
felt
it.
like the new way you did the sound lines was easily understandable to me, at least.
Well, because you dealt with syncing so much.
Yeah.
I kind of talked that dude.
I mean, I guess
Yeah,
for
'cause
people with prior experience, it just seems easier because you know what to expect. But for people who haven't really done
I thought
syncing
it
much
was
at all,
more
it's a
so
little bit
around
hard
like
to
all the
know
revisions
what you
that
need to
people
do.
had to keep making, just to make it top-notch quality. Which is fine, but it got to a point where like no one was responding.
Oh, that was the
Yeah.
critical point of collab. Uh,
Yeah, I think that was probably like the lowest point in production.
yeah, after some time, after like I mean, successfully killed all fun for the collab from participants, I like people scored on it and they stopped replying on my private messages. And after this, I made a message saying that you know, uh, that I accept that this is my fault, that this is all like that the participation is not fun anymore. But I asked them if they are going to participate further or I'm going to make their parts for them, and no one really replied. I said, okay, guys, if like nobody replies in a week, like if someone doesn't reply in a week, I will count that this guy quit the collab. And I only had one reply. It was from Hatana, who offered
Oh,
to like offered help in making parts. And few days after, I also got a message from CoreAdro, who also suggested his help on making parts. So yeah, this collab is finished only because of these two.
aw. Thank you, man. It was a unique
Very
experience
nice.
getting to work really closely in this collaboration. I think like the part that blew my mind the most is when you asked me to host for a little bit because you were away or something.
Yeah, I was away because, actually it was pretty interesting because like my father invited me to live with him because I was living pretty unhealthy life, and I didn't really mind on doing that because I will I will learn new things that I didn't know before. Make something actually with my hands, but I was planning to finish the collab first, and my father, who doesn't really like what I'm doing, which is stick figure animation, he said that I can work on collab too, and actually it was really naive of me to believe that, because when I arrived, there were no time for me to work on the collab. I always got distracted when I was sitting on my laptop and working on the collab. I remember once he was like going to my room and standing behind and watching how I animate, and he basically hates what I do, what I'm doing, and he wants me to don't do this at all. And knowing how he sees this animation and he's standing behind watching what you're doing, it was really demotivating, or how you call it. I'm not
Yeah,
nervous.
that fits it.
So I only worked 12 hours on the collab, nearly like 12, 15 maximum hours for a whole month. So after returning back, I had to I wanted to finish the collab, but I had to go back in 2 weeks, and I didn't bring my laptop. So yeah, I asked Katana to handle the second part while I'm not there. So there will be at least some progress. Uh,
Yeah, 12 hours a day. Like I can barely work like 2 hours a day on an animation.
yeah, but for me, like, animation is really time consuming mm, because I do a lot of edits in my part. Like, I do a movement, then I edit it a lot so it will look good.
When
It's the only one way I can do this.
I only animate when I have the feel for it. So when I don't feel like it, I just don't animate at all. But when I'm really feeling it, I just animate for fucking 5 hours straight, and I just don't see the time passing. And I find it really
Oh,
fun.
that's actually a good way.
I think that's
Well,
also a
I
reason
do
why I
animate only
left,
when
because
I
I
have
just
the
did
time
not
and
feel
when
like it
I
at the
feel it.
time.
And when I'm animating, I really feel good about it. I don't know. It just feels good.
Well, that's the way to go because it never happened to me. But I was sitting like when I arrived. What it was 16th of September. I finished some unfinished stuff, and since 20th, nearly 20th of September, and just until the final collapse release, which was 7th of November, I was working non-stop, like with no day offs.
Mm.
I don't know how you do it, man. You have a lot of determination that I wish I had.
Yeah, I think the only one way why I hold on. Yep, I have 2 dogs. Can you cut it out, please?
Wait, sorry.
The dog drinking water.
Oh yeah, I can fix that.
Okay, thank you. I will stop. So what did I on what did I stop?
I think you were talking around. Uh,
Oh,
I don't remember.
oh, hold on.
I think you I think you were talking about
Right, what do we do next?
I remember you talking about the 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Something about September.
Okay, so I was working on the collapse since 20th of September until 7th of November with non-stop, like just until its final release. Even 2 and 5 hours before the collapse release, I was fixing smokes in transmission between No Mars and Fox's part. Uh, so yeah, kind of like that. So now I feel really happy on actually finishing it, and I don't, rush it anymore. Not actually like rushed, like just working non-stop. I can actually go and play some games, but I'm still working around the collab yet. Like I'm making the video that like about it. Also, need to prepare a lot of stuff, like the resources that I use in animation, fix them so they will be easy to use for other people and explain them how to use it. Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, what's crazy to me is that you did all of this, and as far as I know, you didn't like doing any of it, right?
Yeah, actually, if I could have, any chance of not doing that, I will. I actually will, basically quit it. But I promise that this collab will be finished, and I understood that if I'm not working on it, uh, it is not going to be done. Like each time, each hour I work on it, I get it closer to the finish. So yeah, that's how I work on it.
How long have you been animating?
um, Technically, I have been animating for probably 15 years, 16 years, something
God,
like this, and I've been animating, seriously for probably 10, 11.
okay.
It's all because like my father, he brought Flash 5, Flash 5 on the disk, installed it, and my first animation was like the smile face with legs and arms that disappeared after some time because the frames they end. That was the first animation that I ever made.
It was a great animation.
But then
Yeah, my
I started doing the stick figure animations. I seen Zeta Brand, Nazul, many others animators. I was like, damn, I want to do the same thing. I want to make same animations. That's how it all started.
but you never like really liked the process, right?
Yeah, I only was eager to see the result, and this was the only one thing that moved me.
I think that's kind of the predicament that a lot of animators fall into. Because I think in one of Gilded Guy's blog posts or whatever they are, it was like a topic on animating for fun. And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think one of the quotes was that the process of animation isn't fun; it's just the end result. And I found a lot of people who are disagreeing with that, but I think there's still a lot of people who animate without actually enjoying the process and just only look forward to the final result. But a lot of them don't end up in quite a position like you, where you just can't take it
It's more
anymore.
like a 50-50 if you think of it. Because when you are animating something that really brings you know, some beauty to the animation, you will be animating that, like, not caring about it at all. But it's when you are storyboarding, doing stuff that really takes a long time, and sometimes it's not even worth it. People just think it's not good and feel bad about it.
I person Yeah, I personally think that like the determination that I used, I could use it for something else. This is a good thing. I like game dev. I can do code all day, not even noticing how hours pass. but it can be the same for animation. And I personally think that if people don't like the process of making animation, they should really think about quitting it, because animation is insanely, it's like the most time consuming thing in the world. Like you, like 1 hour of work, you get 1 second of animation in average. You know, it's only stick figure animation. I'm not even talking about full body animations. So
Yeah, honestly, maybe the reason why I like doing animation as both a hobby and possibly my career in the next few years, the reason why I like it so much is because I think I don't set the end goal for myself that far ahead. Because I end up just trying to set where I want my character to go and what I want him to do. Then I try and animate towards that position. Once I make it there and it looks good,
yeah,
I'm
that
happy with myself and I have
yeah, that
fun when
was
I
the
watch it
same way how I was
because I'm
doing
happy with
animation, but I
myself.
felt like, it's pointless to keep it going this way, because the only one thing I was just okay to animate is Scarf. Like I could, if I actually wanted to quit and do something else, like just close Flash 8 and go something else, it never happened with Scarves. Like I was just okay, I will do that.
Wait, so did you liked or you didn't like animating scarves?
I was I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it either. It was like just okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever be able to do animation as a job though, because if you try and go to like a studio or anything like that, it takes away. I think it takes away a lot of creative freedom for stories that you could have.
Yeah, well, that's more like a job than
Well,
rather than
yeah, but
hobby.
a job doesn't have to be completely limiting. There's a lot of outlets where people can be free to experiment with whatever and with whatever they want and however they want. Of course, there are like guidelines and areas that you have to stick in, but for a lot of jobs, if you really do have a strong passion for it, you can just go on without a lot of restrictions.
Yeah, actually, it's more like indie projects rather than big projects, like like cartoons from Disney, or anime industry, where you need to do exactly one thing, animated exactly the same way. However, you could do this, you know, good, or you can do this really, how to say it, really rusty. Like for some example, like the great comparison is probably One Punch Man season one and One Punch Man season two, where you like on the second one, it was mostly, just static images that were twinned on top of background. And the first one, it was really great animation. I'm not really sure, but probably, yeah. When you have a freedom, it is much more pleasant for you to do. But if it like you must animate from this to there this way, yeah, it might be really tiring.
Yeah. Can we move to the next
But
topic? I guess.
let's go to the next topic. Yeah.
Yeah, let's change things up a little bit. Um, we'll just go down the line here from Adro to Shuriken. Um, creative inspiration.
Zeta Brand and mostly Nozzle. They were my inspiration. Like when I saw all these sick combos, and Tension Maro's style with with a lot of force. Nozzle style with also a lot of force, but with flow. Kix's unique style. Shibuya's flowness, and I just was like, wow, damn, this is so cool. And I actually did not even think that one day I will join them, because I was just like starting doing stick figures and trying so hard to be like them.
I mean, only last year. I mean, I can relate with you because only last year I started getting more. I wouldn't say popular in the dojo, but
Recognizable.
just
Yeah, recognizable.
getting known. Yeah, and then people like Adro or Sonic or Hatena, I always looked up to how they animate. So I was always just like I would never be able to get to talk to them like I don't know, like a friend or something. But then as the year went on, like right now I'm talking to all of you guys really just like close friends, which is great. So I mean I can understand like where you're coming from because when you first start or when you first start watching animation, you think that you can never get that good. You'll never be able to get to their level of skill. But then as you progress, as you just start trying, you notice that you keep getting better and better and develop your own style, and then you'll start getting recognized.
Yeah.
I think the
So,
yeah, you
I
go
mean,
first. Just stop.
because animation in this way is a form of trial and error, I guess. It's also how we all develop our own styles and whatsoever.
Right.
Right?
Um,
Continue on.
Pessoah, who were you inspired most by?
I know it's weird, but you, I think, by Kyle and Socrates most of the time, because Socrates has a so unique style. It's so satisfying to watch, And I think the first time I actually talked to you, I was like, "Hey, wanna join? Wanna join? I really wanna join." And I just was shit. It was complete garbage, and
Wait, what was the first collab of mine you joined?
I think it's where the hog house, where the hog house. I don't know how to talk.
Really? It was that one? I thought you joined an earlier one.
No, I joined it level up, but you didn't accept my application, so I didn't actually
Oh,
join it, but I tried.
right.
But yeah.
Adro, who inspired you the most?
Um, well, actually, I can't really tell that. I actually started animating in 2014, I guess, like January 1st of 2014, and back then there was some weird cartoon on the internet. It was a Hungarian cartoon, and that actually inspired me to animate. And then later on, I guess in 2015, my brother showed me some of Jan's animation, and that actually inspired me to start animating stick figures. So I would consider that to be my biggest inspiration. So yeah.
Jan.
Jan, and also John, because later on I found John too, and he inspired me even more. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's any surprise when I say my biggest inspiration, at least when I went into the dojo and stick fights, was
Nice
Shuriken.
leg.
So yeah, so the just be to be in the position to participate in one of your collaborations was it was like I said in the comments, it was like a dream come true because the original imitator was like the first one that I found that it was like, oh wait, stick figure fights can actually be really cool. I'm gonna try doing them now.
Thank you. It's really
But then
good to
like
hear.
yeah, when I was first animating though, back when I was like 11 years old, um, there was an app on the Nintendo DSi called Flipnote Studio, and I was just given internet access on it, so I downloaded it and I just started animating, and I didn't stop. There was no real inspiration, and I just liked it. Yeah.
I think the most inspirational collab I ever seen was the Imitator and the. It's not exactly a collab, but it was the animation from Hyan Liam. I don't know how to say it.
Hyun.
Yeah. Shut up! It was his one versus many or one versus
Yeah, one versus many.
prelude. It was pretty good. It really
Did you see the first one?
yeah. The first one was also pretty good.
Alright, I'd say like, the most inspiring, or whatever the word is. I mean, the best thing to inspire me is just general movement, any type of smooth movement in animation or real life or anything. Because there's movement everywhere around us, no matter what we're doing. So I tend to look at things when I'm bored, and when I see some smooth movement, I just feel like I can copy that in animation. But when I try to, I just fail. So I guess the thing that inspires me the most, other than that movement, is attempting to be like recreate that movement and feel proud of myself, because like, self-confidence is surprisingly a rare thing in this generation. So having like being proud of yourself for something you accomplish is actually a nice inspirational factor.
Okay, next topic, I guess. It's
Favorite numbers?
The best number is
Yeah,
4.
Yeah, the best number is 4.
the best number is
definitely.
4.
Why? Why is the best number 4?
Why not?
Why not?
'Cause the best number is 3.
I think my favorite number is 9
Why?
17.
because it's fucking 6, but it's upside down.
You know what? I can get behind that.
You ever just like something because it's an upside down render or something else?
Yeah.
Wow. I remember it was when I was young. I was at a baseball game, and they had mini games going on in like one of the TV or something. And it was like all of them were answers from like 1 through 3, and I kept guessing 3 just for the hell of it, and all of them were right. And ever since that moment, I've just liked the number 3.
Is this actually becoming
I
a
just
topic?
realized it. The number 3.
This is becoming
This
a
is actually
topic.
becoming a topic, isn't it?
Yeah. But the number 3 though. Oh man.
I have to agree, it's quite a nice number.
I know
So
this is
stupid.
weird, but when I was young, I used it to make 3, but like an E. So I made E but reverse, and I said it was a 3.
Oh, one thing about Singaporeans is they cannot really pronounce like the TH sound. They can't pronounce that. So
Huh.
when we say a number like 3 or something, they would say tree, and sometimes I get confused when they say 3 trees. They say trees.
3.
It's I mean, I sound self racist somehow, but
Self-racist. 100 IQ. I know this is weird, but Brazilians do have a lot of, like, words that are complicated to say. Like, when someone that is American tries to say my name, for example, they just get messed up. It's really weird. Like, my name is Pedro Alexandre Gomes Camargo Souza.
I can understand why they'd mess it up.
What?
Yeah, so it's like Pedro, it's my first name. Alexandre, it's my second name. Gomes
Gesundheit.
Camargo de Souza. It's like 5 words or something. It's really fucking long.
I know that Filipinos usually have 4 names. Of course, not first names, but yeah.
Nice topic, guys.
Yes, that went very well.
So alright, well, the last topic is Shuriken Q&A, but we've kind of been
Yes,
doing
we
that this
have,
whole
haven't
time.
we?
Sure.
Hmm.
Shuriken, what is your
So I don't know. Is there just anything that comes to
Shuriken.
mind?
What is your character?
That comes to mind.
What?
We'll just
Why
start
is your
asking
character
personal
purple?
questions.
That's
Make it even more awkward.
that's
Shuriken.
Yeah,
Shuriken.
Oh, yeah, let's do
I-
that.
I
Probably.
see that.
Shuriken, why is your character purple?
Well, you,
Why is
you,
my
you
character
could ask
purple?
that about
Basically
my
because I
character.
tried to rip off nozzle,
What?
but without
Oh my
scarf.
god. Please, let's all talk at the same time.
My
No.
character is basically purple because I tried to rip off nozzle, but without scarf because I was really bad animator and I was afraid of drawing scarves.
And then you drew a scarf.
Yeah, I added scarf when I entered Zeta Brands, as a sign of.
I feel like
Zetabrand
Zetabrand
It stayed.
characters all have to have either like some cloth item on their neck or torso.
Shibuya doesn't have anything.
Wait, is it pronounced Zetabrand?
Yeah, Zeta Brand.
Bruh.
Bro, I've been pronouncing it Zeta Brand
Zeta
this whole time.
Brand.
I pronounced it Zeta
was
Brand
fun.
more times than I can count, so.
I pronounce it.
Alright, cool.
I pronounce.
I'll just be here in the corner of shame.
I think I pronounce it Zeta Brand because of my
Yeah.
language. Just because when Brazilians just talk everything English, they have to do and you like something.
Oh, I know a
fucking
topic. Like, actually, I'm not sure if it's a good topic. But it's like how you designed your stick. Somehow, it's a complicated topic.
Oh.
I don't know why.
How did I
it's
design
a
my
complicated
stick
topic.
figure?
There's many
Uh,
ways you can design a stick. Do you mean the character?
Like both, like the
The
color, character, power, all that stuff.
I mean, one thing that is kind of important for me is to be able to recognize the stick without having, the logo, your logo on the top corner. I think that's pretty important. So that's why I added the headband to Galaxy. Actually, I just wanted to make like a dark blue stick figure, and that's why I always keep the weapon of bamboo on his back.
Yeah.
Always.
I mean, bamboo does have a pretty iconic color as well. It's bright, not really that bright. It was again bamboo green, which is nice.
Bamboo.
What?
A lot of people mistook your bamboo Easter egg in the 360 collab for turquoise, though.
Yeah, actually,
So,
even people in my comment section kept telling me that I animating
Honestly,
turquoise.
just the
yeah, there's comments on the video that just try to point out all the Easter eggs. It's like, oh, here you can see clearly this is turquoise.
To be honest, that upsets me a bit, but because that's exactly what I didn't want to happen.
the reason why my stick is, I guess, still purple is because for a while my favorite color is purple. It still is. So I just decided why not. But then I also remember that like Nozzle, Shuriken, few others purple. I'm wondering whether or not I should change the color. Then I just decided to stick with it, and then now I can't really go off it. It just feels, I don't know why, but purple just feels like a nice color for a stick figure. And it also does go well with like what I want his ability to be. It's somewhat gravitational control or air pressure, whatever, either one. I still haven't decided yet.
Oh yeah, another thing that I think is important is to don't make your sticks color too bright or too saturated. Yeah,
I know.
that's the word
Okay,
I was
so-
searching for.
There's one thing I really hate. I know it doesn't make sense, but when I'm animating really, really bright stick on blank backgrounds. You know, it's so complicated to animate. It's just not fucking cool for me. I can't fucking see.
Sometimes if I
I
deal
don't
with
know
it,
how to animate, and I fuck everything up.
you know, you can like animate stick figure with one color that is you comfortable with, and then do the multiple frame selection and color it all at once, like
Yeah,
in few
that's why I
clicks.
do that.
One person that
Yeah.
that actually uses really saturated and bright colors that I know of at least is T-Bot, because whenever I see his sticks, I try to tell him to tone down the colors a little bit. But, like, it's one character was like really like prominent blue, and it hurt my eyes somehow. I mean,
I don't. I don't think I've ever had a problem with
no,
what
I don't have a
color
problem
the
with
stick
what
man is. The
color they
only
are. It's just
problem that
if it's too saturated, my eyes start hurting because the color is so pure that it just doesn't look appealing to me. That's why. That's why I tend to like stick colors that are slightly dulled down, like just that slider at the right hand side of the color wheel. Yeah, that's fair.
or you can just make them black.
Also, Oxop sticks color kinda hurts my
Yeah.
eyes too.
It is extraordinarily blue.
Well, I actually think that any color can be fixed. I mean, like the brightness and stuff, it can be fixed with simple thing like outline. I do outline, so it will be much easier to see the character on on different backgrounds.
I wanted to say that too because it helps if you add like outline.
Yeah, it's not like, oh my gosh, you like he's outlining because of that event. No, it's because it's much easier for your eyes to see the form of the stick figure and to see and understand how it moves.
Yeah, I guess so. But if it, in my opinion, if it is too bright or saturated, I tend to look away from the stick more because, I mean, that's probably just a personal thing since my eyes can't take that much brightness. So I tend to look away from the bright stick and towards the enemies, which also kind of draws away from the choreography and all that.
Well, probably, yeah, it's your thing. I can see any stick figure pretty fine. It's more like stick figures, like, as people didn't used to make outlines, they need to make bright colors, so stick figures will be visible on the background really clearly.
I mean, unless the background is this
Well,
pitch
if
black,
you have
and then
outline,
you
you
have a
don't have
black
to do
stick.
that. Use the white outline.
Fair.
I'm actually doing. That's actually an interesting subject because in one of my new animations that I've been working on for like over a year, um, I have this scene idea for my character Shame, who is completely black, no outline, to go. They crash into a completely pitch black room, but he uses that darkness to his advantage. So the only way you could see him was through his gun, which is like a bright white.
So it's like basically animating the gun only.
Well, I don't know exactly how I'm gonna tackle it yet, but I want it to I wanted to play with the idea of just his color being just pure blackness, um, to kind of give him an advantage in the fight for once, because throughout most of the fight he's gonna be just getting his ass beat by the other duelist.
Yeah, but I think
But
I think you also can do this. Like if you get like a little tip, if you really want to see that it's pitch black and like the character can see it, then you need to make character like say like that he doesn't really see this. Like where is he? Then you do slowly tint the outline of stick figure into something like gray, so stick figures will be like the viewers will be able to understand where Shim is, and not only seeing the gun, because you don't want to hide. You want to hide character from another character, but not from viewers. Viewers can react weird on that.
Yeah, I still don't know entirely how to do it, but I want it to make I wanted to make it look like it was confusing for the other character too. So like most of the focus would go towards the other duelist.
Yeah, you just need
And
to.
occasionally you just see a gunblade flying by.
I think you just need to actually say you need to just like make like show that the character doesn't really see him. Like there is a shoot like he stares at one point when Shim is getting behind or something like this. Like by like make it look like he doesn't see him by choreography. Make it clear by using choreography. This might be really tricky, but I think that's the best way to do that. Because hiding the character completely and animating the gun only, I think it's
It does
a
make
really good idea.
Yeah, I was probably gonna animate Shane and then just try and
it
highlight
does make
the gun.
some of the
obviously.
movements look a little bit unnatural because you don't really know what's going on in the darkness.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can see like stick figure fight a gun instead of fighting a stick figure.
it's like just a ghost is controlling it. Let's not reference that one collab, by the way.
Oh, the one where they steal the
I'm
color.
not gonna talk
or-
anymore. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. We have a few more minutes left. Do we want to just close up with plugging our stuff?
With what?
Just announcements, like telling the people what we got going on.
I didn't actually have any announcements. I already made one, so yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if you know about it, but my channel is fucking dead, so I don't have any announcements. Literally, it's just dead.
Right.
Well, I'll have people go subscribe.
Yes.
I have an announcement, and that announcement is that I'm back from the
Do
dead.
that.
Well,
I'm actually gonna start animating again.
To you. Yeah, Orion's back. Out of pure pressure.
Honestly, from now on, it's not really gonna be out of peer pressure or peer pressure. I actually do want to start animating again, which is nice.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see what you got, man. Adro, is there anything you want to shout out?
I wanna plug Bamboo versus Sonic XD.
What, the free
I'd
second
say that
animation?
humor is
Yes.
peak Adro.
Alright. Alright. Well, thanks everyone for dropping by and watching. Subscribe and tell me what other special guests you want me to bring on. I think we got the Animate website crew coming on to talk about some of their announcements sometime in the future. But everyone's channels and other links will be in the description, so feel free to check them out.
Yay.
Thank you all for dropping by. See ya.
see ya.
Bye.